Today, I'll be sharing an interview with Trygve Olson. He is a senior advisor for the Lincoln Project. Now, if you haven't already heard of the Lincoln Project, it's a group of former Republican Party members and conservatives who oppose Trump and his reelection. In our conversation, Trygve basically addressed his concerns about Trump as a possible threat to democracy, but here's the interview. All right. Well, Trygve, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
My pleasure. It's good to be on.
Yeah, so I just want to get us started off right away talking about the upcoming presidential race. Obviously, a really big deal in Wisconsin. You're working with the Lincoln Project as an advisor. What are some of the main concerns that you and Lincoln Project have about a second Trump presidency?
Well, I think so. So my background is a little bit unique. I cut my teeth working in Wisconsin politics back during the Tommy Thompson era. I worked for that broader world. And then in 94, while I was still in that world, I was asked by an organization John McCain ran to go work in Poland right after, communism fell. And we ran a Get Out the Vote campaign, like an MTV style Get Out the Vote campaign. It was one of the first ones outside the US. And so my career really ended up going on two paths. One is a road often traveled, working at various levels in Republican politics, and eventually working on a couple of presidential campaigns and helping Mitch McConnell's political world run his political world as part of it. And then the other was I spent all these years working for the International Republican Institute that John McCain led in countries like Russia, Belarus. If you name an autocrat, I ended up with kind of a specialty of working in places where democracy hadn't taken hold. Um, and I saw places where democracies had failed. And so, I never imagined that those two paths would come together and that, I used to stand in front of people in places like Ukraine or Russia or Venezuela or wherever, and they would be, taking great risks to come to trainings like how do we fight for democracy? And I would think to myself, would I stand up and fight like these people? Would I be one of the people showing up at a seminar like this if it were under threat in my own country?